Hello everyone, my name is Mack Lomer, Diomangay, and this is Basic Cost Concepts. So the topics are: what is cost, future cost and past cost, incremental cost and sunk cost, out-of-pocket cost and book cost, historical cost and replacement cost, explicit cost and implicit cost, actual cost, direct cost and indirect cost, shutdown cost and abandonment cost, private cost and social cost. So what is cost? Cost concepts are a crucial part of managerial decisions involving selection between alternative courses of action. Their quantitative values help specify the relative merits of these courses of action. Hence, it is important to understand what these various concepts of cost are, how this can be defined and operationalized. This requires the understanding of the two things, namely, that cost estimates produced by conventional financial accounting are not appropriate for all managerial uses, and that different business problems call for different kinds of cost. Future cost and past cost. Future cost is the sum of past and present costs that are estimated to be incurred in the future. So past cost is an expense incurred in the past that is always included in the income statement. Incremental and sunk costs. Incremental costs are generally a result of particular decisions made. They may include both fixed and variable costs. In the short period of time, incremental costs will consist of variable costs such as labor, raw materials, power, fuel, which can affect the decision-making of a firm. Sunk cost is one which is not affected or altered by a change in the level or nature of business activity. It will remain the same whatever the level of activity. And the most important example of sunk cost is the amortization of past expenses, depreciation. Out-of-pocket and book costs. Out-of-pocket costs, those costs that are paid to outsiders immediately compared to those that don't require current cash expenditures. Example, wages and salaries paid to the employees are out-of-pocket costs, while salary of the owner-manager. A book cost is an expense that has not been paid. Interest costs associated with owner's funds and depreciation costs are other examples of book costs. Historical and replacement costs. Historical costs, it refers to the cost of plant equipment and materials at the time of purchase, while the replacement costs represent the price a company would have to pay to replace or acquire the same asset today. Example, if the price of bronze at the same time of purchase, say in 1974, was 15 per kilogram, and if the present price is 18 per kilogram, the original cost of 15 is the historical cost, while 18 is replacement cost. So basically, replacement cost is the current cost of acquiring the same plant. Explicit and implicit costs. So, explicit costs are those costs paid by the firm that appears in its accounting records, or paid out costs, while the implicit costs are these costs which are not recognized by the accounting system but may be defined as the earnings earned by the owner himself by employing those resources. Actual costs. These are the actual expenses incurred to acquire or produce a good or service and are generally recorded in accounts such as wages paid, materials purchased, interest paid, etc. Basically, these are the expenses in order to run a business. Direct and indirect costs. Direct costs are those costs that can be directly attributed to the production of a unit of a given product. These costs vary with the output unit and they can therefore be easily separated, ascertained, and ascribed. Indirect costs are those which cannot be easily separated and assigned to individual units of production. Shutdown and abandonment costs. Shutdown costs that have to be incurred when production operations are suspended, are not required if production operations continue. Abandonment costs are incurred when a plant is to shut down permanently, resulting in the disposal of fixed assets. Private and social costs. A private cost is one that has been incurred or paid for by an individual or firm for its activity. A social cost is one that is borne by society as a whole as a result of producing a good. Thus, economic costs include both private and social costs. That's all. Thank you.